How am I funding my move? OnlyFans. I'm kidding. I'm not doing that. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding.
Got my passport. I've been searching, I've been working to get out this town. Country hopping, baby.
What is up, y'all boys? It's your girl Asia, like the continent, and welcome to my channel. As you can see, your girl has on her London School of Economics hoodie, so that means I am filming my Lauderdale to London vlog series. And that's the part where it goes. Last night I went out for Taco Tuesday, and I went out with some of my sorority sisters, and you know, we were drinking, eating tacos and chatting it up, and they were asking me some really great questions regarding like where I am in my process, why I even have a process, and all just really great questions. So I was like, for my next part of my series, I should do filming answering some of their questions as well as some of the other questions, because I opened the floor up to my Instagram followers. So if you haven't already, follow me on Instagram. It is also Passport to Asia, and I will put that there. And I had some questions from YouTube. I had some questions from my DMs. I had questions from my text messages. I just had questions. So I figured I put together this video compiling all of those together and answering them for you. So let's jump right into it. Actually, before we jump right into it, I have a few announcements. So life updates. I am actually under contract for selling my home. My closing date is June 4th, meaning that I need to be up and out of here by like June 3rd, because they do like the final walkthrough and all of that fun stuff, and I have not really started packing, and this video date is as of May 12th, but I will be up and packed and ready to go by June 3rd, and it's really exciting. I have an amazing realtor, shout out to Vic. And this process, like my house was literally on the market for less than 2 weeks, and I have so much to do, but it's all good in the hood because change happens, and it happens quickly, and you got to be prepared for it and move and be agile and be flexible and roll with the punches and do what needs to get done. So from now, in between that time, you know, work is going well. I'm transitioning with that. They are in the process of hiring a new person to backfill my position. So if you are interested in a strategy consultant role with an amazing company that has amazing benefits, you can write me or DM me or find a way to contact me, and I'll be happy to connect you with who you need to be connected with in order to make that happen for you. So yeah, so those are those things. So yeah, I'm selling my house. I am transitioning out from my job. I have all of my things that checklist, not all of them, but checklist wise from the university. I'm like moving down the checklist, and all I have to do now really is apply for my visa. And if any of you guys have gone through the visa application process, you know it is a boop. So I'm preparing all of my documents and doing all of that to make sure that my visa does not get rejected, and that this is a smooth transition, and they can welcome me gracefully within the London walls. So yeah, that's really all my life updates. So let's jump into the questions, shall we? The first question, so I have my phone out, so I have everything that I need. So the first question is, how did you do research to find the best school? So I knew off rip that I wanted to move to London. Like, that was the city. I just knew I wanted to move to London. So with doing that, I was like, I'm only going to apply to the top universities that offered the program that I wanted, which was anything in the organizational or industrial psychology realm. With doing that though, I wanted to apply for either a master's or PhD program. So as you guys, some of you guys may know from my last video, I said that I applied to 3 universities within the city. I applied to LSE, King's College, and Birkbeck University. And with Birkbeck and King's, I applied for their PhD programs, and with LSE, I applied to their master's program. So before I knew which universities I wanted, I was doing like general research, like just Google searching, and they have websites that do like university rankings and all of that. But one that was very, very helpful, which is what I used as my base, was this website called the CompleteUniversityGuide.co.uk. So I put that there. You type in where you're from, where you're currently living, and what you're interested in terms of higher education level. So if you want to do undergraduate, postgraduate, graduate programs, whatever, certifications, whatever the case may be. And they give a running list of all of the universities that offer your programs, and they do a great job at comprehensively piecing it all together. They tell you when the course dates kind of start. They tell you how long the course is going to be, if you're going to do full-time, part-time. They give a course summarization. They go over the modules. Like, it's very, very comprehensive. So they tell you the cost and fees and all of that great stuff. And so and they give overviews of the university information in general. So the rankings and all of that fun stuff, and some fun facts and that stuff too. So as I was going through the list of all the universities, I was writing them down and figuring out like, oh, this one's really cool, or this one's really not that interesting, or whatever the case may be. And then I had my top 3 universities and then my top 6 programs within those universities. So my top choice was the London School of Economics for their Masters of Organizational and Social Psychology program, which is what I got in. Then I had Birkbeck under their Management and Consulting and Organizational Change program. Then King's College in their Masters of Organizational Psychiatry and Psychology. And then Birkbeck again for their org psychology program. Birkbeck for their MPhil, which is like their PhD program. And then LSE for their Masters of Research / PhD program. And then I had a bonus one for the University of London for their Masters of Org Psych class program, but I never applied to that one because it was a bonus and money was looking funny, and I wasn't trying to do applications for like 10 things and I had to pay for it out of pocket. So that's how I went about doing the research. I used just the one website for my go-to source, and then I looked at YouTube videos of students and faculty for each of the universities and the programs. I went on the school websites to do more research to see and get a feel, and that's how I narrowed down my top 3 choices. All right, next question is, what is the grading system in London? So in the UK, they go by the British grading system, and it's a degree class system that they use. So first, upper, second, and then third degree. First degree would be equivalent to an A or a 4.0, if you would. And then upper second is anywhere between like a 3.6 and a 3.9 if we were converting it to what we use here in the US. And for my program in particular, they wanted a upper second degree, and you can also see it in numerical form. So you'll see some places that have like first or 2 to 1 or 2 to 2 or 3 in terms of what they are requiring. In my master's program, because I also have my MBA, in that program I received a 3.8 GPA when I finished. So that would be the equivalent of an upper second degree class. So hope that answered your question. I will definitely though need to get used to that, but if I see anything on my paper from a 70 or up, that means I passed. So 70% in terms of percentile. So 70 to 100% is what would be considered like first class honors. So if I get a 70 or above, I'm good to go. That's all I care about. Just give me the 70, bruh. I'm good. Which is dope, I think. A little confusing because a 70 here is definitely a C. A 70 in the US is definitely a C, but I'll take it. I'll take it. All right, next question. Is there anything you're nervous about? I am nervous about everything, honestly. I'm nervous. And not in like a horrible way either. Like, I'm not like nervous because I'm fearful. I'm just nervous because it's like the unknown. But the most thing I'm nervous about is going there and not failing school, because it is when I sought out to make this move and apply to these top universities and programs in London, I knew I wanted to challenge myself in a way that I've never been challenged before. I'm going into my 30s, and if I'm being completely honest with y'all, like I felt like I haven't been challenged in a while, and I felt like things have, and not completely throughout my life, like things have come naturally or things have come easy, but I've been able to navigate my way through situations and circumstances with somewhat ease, and I give all glory to God, and you know, things lining up in my life the way that they have been. But I wanted to challenge myself and see if this is something I really could do. So I'm nervous about being able to see that through, and I have confidence that I will, but I'm just nervous about that. But I think those are like early stage jitters, I guess. But that's one of the things that I'm most nervous about. All right, what am I most excited about the move? This is something I wanted to do for a really long time, and I'm excited to just be in the city, engulf myself in the culture, meet new people, make new friends, be one with London, travel to different European countries while I'm there, because traveling and backpacking across Europe is you know, it's a thing, and I can't wait to do that and visit different cities while I'm there. And it's travel between countries and cities within Europe is pretty easy and not as expensive as like flying across the US. So I'm really looking forward to that. Like, I'm really excited about that. So, and to like hear their accent. I know that sounds so cheesy, but like, I mean, y'all know, British people, y'all know, y'all be trying to be so coy and so modest. Like, y'all know y'all accent slap. Y'all know y'all accent slaps. Like, don't even front. So I'm excited about that too. All right, next question. How am I funding my move? OnlyFans. I'm kidding. I'm not doing that. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. But no, honestly, so I'm in the process of selling my home, like I told you guys in my life update. So the funds that I receive from that will be a big chunk of how I pay for things. I have savings. I've been saving for this for a little minute. I'm still working, so the checks that I am collecting up until the time that I leave, all of that will be going to me leaving. I'm selling a lot of things in my home, so if you guys are interested in purchasing things, let me know. And yeah, you know, donations are good. My Cash App, my Zelle, you know, help a sister out. Woo. So any and all of those things. Freelance also, I'll probably more than likely do freelance work. I have a consulting company that I have my own, Strategies and Consulting, and I'll probably jumpstart that back up because that was something that I did last year during the pandemic. But I kind of put it on pause because my bandwidth, I was pulling myself very thin in a lot of different areas in the midst of a global pandemic, and it was just a lot on me. But I need to make some money, so I more than likely will start that back up on a freelance basis while I'm abroad too. So, and I might get a job. I know they say I'll be going to school full time, and I don't encourage you to work, and it's only so much work I can do as an international student on a visa while being a student. But a girl gotta make some money, so I'm gonna figure something out. All right, next question. How do you go about finding housing in a different country? Girl, you tell me. I have no idea. I'm just kidding. But they have different websites. They have things like a website called Spare Room, which offers you a list of apartments or flats in the London or the UK area where you can find roommates and split up the rents and do all of that. It's very customizable, very similar to like renters.com and things like that here in the US. And I've been looking online, I've been looking on YouTube, TikTok, like all social media platforms. I don't have anyone directly that I know that lives in the UK, but I do have friends that have friends that live in the UK, so they are, or live in London specifically, that are willing to help me. So hopefully through that I will find housing, because that is definitely going to be a thing. And all the YouTube videos that I have seen as it relates to housing in London, they all say that you need to, it's highly recommended that you are there in person to see the apartment, see what they look like for real. Like, you don't want to get scammed out there and be saying that you seen this one and it looks like crap. So like I am actually going to be moving about a month. I'll be in London about a month before my program starts. So while I'm there, I'm gonna kind of hit the ground running to find a place. So that's the plan. Fingers crossed. All right, next question. When's the first turn up? I mean, shit, shot it. Like I just said, I will be in London about a month before my program officially starts. So I'll have time to get acclimated into the city, and those that know me know I'll find a turn up. Like, that ain't no problem. That ain't no problem. That ain't no problem. I'm gonna find a turn up because that's just how I am.
Oh, I'm gonna do that anyway. I'm gonna do that anyway because that's how I am.
But I ain't gonna lie and say as soon as I get there, but as soon as I get comfortable and settled a bit, turn up me please. I know of one thing, I'm not going, but in London they have this thing called the Barclay Wireless Festival, and it's like the Coachellas and the Lollapaloozas of, you know, the US. And I've gone once, and if you recall my last video in this series, I showed a clip of me seeing The Weeknd while I was there, because I went to the festival, and they're having it this year, but it's in September, like literally right before my program starts. But I don't think I'm going because none of the artists in the lineup I really like care to see like that. But the city's gonna be ablaze, the city's gonna be booming. Like, you know, we outside with it and they outside with it in the UK, because the government officially announced that June 21st is when like all the bars and clubs and things like that will be fully open. So we'll see. By the time I get there, you know, it'll be some trial and errors and see how it works. So we'll see. So I'm really excited. But I'll let you know. Next question. am I planning to learn how to drive on the opposite side of the road? Not immediately. Like, I'm very comfortable. So in London, they have a tube system, which is their subway system. They call it the tube there, and I will not likely, but likely, no, I will more than likely, very likely be using the tube to get almost everywhere, because I'm not gonna bring a car with me, because we drive on the opposite side of the road from them. But yeah, so I no time soon. Like, if somebody, like, once I make friends for real and they have a car, if they have a car, if they want to, like, let me see how it's done, then yeah. But if not, I won't. Yeah, it's not on my to-do list. Next question. Why are you so amazing? Because y'all think I am. I'm just normal. I just be doing stuff. I just do stuff that I like. That's it. Can you pack me in your luggage? Girl, I wish. Because you and me would, like, it would be so awesome. It would be so awesome. But no, baby, I'm sorry. I mean, if you want me to try, but that's like an 8-hour flight. So you'll be up in there for a really long time. And you won't even be, like, in the carry-on. You'll be, like, in the check bag. So it could get kind of stuffy in there. I don't know if you want to do that. The next question. How hard is it to get into LSE? So the London School of Economics is one of the top universities in the world. They specialize, obviously, I mean, they have economics. So the full name is the London School of Economics and Political Science. And they specialize in economics and finance and things in the business side of the world. But they also specialize heavily in social sciences. So they are actually #2 in the world for their social sciences programs. So it's pretty competitive. For my program in particular, so the last time they did these stats, in 2019, for the Masters of Organizational Social Psychology program, they had 358 applicants. And they only had intake for 47. So it's a pretty competitive program. It is a very competitive and prestigious university. And but I'm smart. So that it's pretty competitive though. It was my first choice. It was a school that I really wanted to get into, but I was like, eek, I don't know. When did I apply and how long it took to get an offer? So I officially started my application process in the end of July, beginning of August. I actually had like a complete quarterly timeline of everything that I needed to get done quarter by quarter, up until like this point, to like I called it my road to London town, and I kind of wrote all of that stuff out. But I didn't get an acceptance letter from LSE until April. So I completed my application and submitted it the end of December, and I got accepted I got my offer letter in April, like beginning part of April. So that's about how long. And I'm actually still waiting to hear back from King's. So I don't know if I got into their PhD program, but I already accepted my offer in LSE. So not that, but that. So the next question is, what was the application process like? So it was pretty extraneous. Like, I'm not even gonna hold you. So like I said, I started the application process in the end of July, beginning of August, and I did several rounds of, so they required a few things. So they wanted a thesis statement for my master's program for the doctoral programs that I applied to, they wanted you to have an outline of your research and some of your dissertation work. School programs in London, master's programs in London are only for a year, and PhD programs can range anywhere between 2 to 4 years depending on the program. So for full-time students. So when it came to applying for my master's program, I had to have my thesis as well as a personal statement, my curriculum vista, or my CV, as well as my resume, and bodies of work that I had regarding like the research that I've done. So I had to provide a thesis and showcase that I am able to do research, and luckily for me, I'm a research analyst by occupation, so it came pretty standard for me. There wasn't anything super duper hard. It didn't for the masters, they don't require a GRE or a GMAT. But for my PhD, they do require that. So I had to, you know, take the GRE. I didn't take the GMAT. I took the GRE, and I wrote out my thesis. I decided what my thesis was, wrote it out, went through. I think I ended up, at the end of everything, I ended up with 8 edits. So I did a handwritten version for my first round, for my first draft, and I did several edits up until like the 8th one. Thereafter, once I kind of had my 6th draft, I sent it off. And this is a good tip for you guys. If you are currently in an undergraduate program or attend college or university, go to, or an alumna or alumni of a particular university, you still have access to their career center. Like, go forth and be great and talk to the career center and have one of the TAs or one of the career center advisors look over any documents, your resume, your CV, your personal statement, any documentation, and they can help you go on and run through edits with you. I talked to 2 of the career advisors at FSU and 1 at Nova, which are the universities that I attended. I attended FSU for undergraduate and Nova for my master's program, and had them review and give me feedback and comments and edits for my documents. Like, do it. It's free. It is a service that is still available to you through your alum network. So go and do that. So yeah, that was the process. Typically, some programs do require you to interview. Because of the pandemic, I didn't have to do any like face-to-face interviews or go tour the schools or do anything like that, because it wasn't allowed. Like, they weren't open for that. They weren't accepting that, so that was in my favor. But for my PhD applications at King's and Birkbeck, they do require you to reach out to a prospective professor that is going to sponsor or mentor you throughout the duration of your dissertation. This may or may not be the person that you land with for the duration of your program, but they want you to research and find a professor that is willing to do that. So I had to reach out to professors, showcase what my dissertation would potentially be, because, you know, you might start with one idea of what you want your dissertation is, but by the time you get into the program, it could shift and change a little bit or need some tweaking. But they wanted you to have that outline in the beginning, so I had to do that as well. And overall, for King's and Birkbeck, I actually submitted my applications in January. Like, not like in the very beginning. Like, yeah, like in the first or second week of January. I can't remember which one I did first, but it was definitely in the beginning of January. What's the food like? I don't know yet. I mean, I studied, let me not lie, I studied abroad in London in undergrad, so I had like, you know, the traditional fish and chips. I had that, but I mostly like cooked while I was doing my studies there. Like we didn't really eat out that much because I was a broke college student, so I didn't really eat out that much. And we had like dining hall food, but it was kind of American because Florida State has a campus, yeah, they have like a mini campus in like this, in the heart of the city. So oftentimes we did like dining hall stuff, or I cooked, like I said, and I cooked enough, yeah, or that's, so I mean, I had tea, I had fish and chips, but they have pretty normal basic stuff, and from what I recall, like none of the food tastes bad. But I'm definitely gonna be packing my seasonings with me. Like now that I'm older and my palate is more refined than what it was at 21, I'm definitely going to pack my seasonings. Now I don't know if I'm gonna be eating beans for breakfast because they be eating beans for breakfast, but who knows. I want to engulf myself in the culture, like I said, so I might. And they have a very heavy African influence and an African culture in London, so I'm looking forward to trying all types of food. So I'm really excited. Actually, I want to redo a question. I want to redo one. What am I most excited about? I'm most excited about going to concerts in London. Like, I cannot wait. Out of the indie R&B artists that I like, they really don't do concerts in the US because it's so hard to get over here, and you know, you might not be able to fill up a stadium or fill up a concert hall or venue in the same way that you would in the UK because of the fan base. So I'm really looking forward to like those nice intimate concerts with like the Jordan Ratneys of the world and the Tom Mishas of the world, and just like the sub motion orchestras if they are still around and doing stuff, and like, or even big concerts too. Like I'm just really excited for concerts and festivals, like, and not even just in London, like in Europe, period. Like I will travel for a concert. So, but that was all the questions. I hope I was able to answer them for y'all boys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Subscribe if you haven't yet. My numbers is going up, baby. Let's get these subs up to 150 before like my birthday. That would be dope. And like 200 or like 500 before I leave. Like that would be so dope. But yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that now. It's actually a subscribe button right here. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, y'all boys, peace.
Got my passport. I've been searching, I've been working to get out this town. Country hopping, baby.